What's going on, Laker Nation? Coming up on today's show, we have the latest trade targets, basically the final trade targets before tomorrow's NBA trade deadline, which we are less than 24 hours away from. Lake Show needs some defensive reinforcements, specifically in the front court. We'll talk about 5 names in just a moment. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up icon on this video. If you love the Lakers, you're going to love what we got going on here at the Lakers Report. And can we top last video's like total of 324? If you love the Lakers, hit that thumbs up icon on today's video, and let's get started with these trade targets. First up on the list, obviously, the number one and the most coveted trade target for Los Angeles is Myles Turner, the center from the Indiana Pacers. Now, we heard previously that Myles Turner was not really being put on the trade market from Indiana, but I think the Los Angeles should still be barking up Indiana's tree right now because he's just that good of a player, and he could be an elite rim protector for this team, which it truly lacks after losing Anthony Davis. He's another scoring option as well, who's shooting 40% from three-point range this season. He's actually the ideal target for Los Angeles to be pairing up and kind of replacing Anthony Davis with after they acquired Luka Doncic. Here's Greg Swartz of Bleacher Report on what Myles Turner would be for Los Angeles. He says, Turner is a proven rim protector and floor spacer, is averaging a really good line on the season, shooting 40% from 3. If the Pacers don't feel like they'll re-sign him this summer or don't want to pay him big money, a trade to the Lakers may be best for both parties. And like I said, Myles Turner should be the number one trade target for Los Angeles, and they should give that pick that they didn't end up giving to the Dallas Mavericks over to Indiana. Like, he is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year, but I do think giving up that first-round pick would, maybe vault them in a position where they're willing to give up Turner, and, they're not going to pay him this summer, and they can sacrifice losing him for a playoff run that probably won't end up in a championship. So this should be Lakers' number one trade target, and they should be on the phone with Indiana for the next, basically, 20 hours until this trade deadline hits. Myles Turner should be number one. What do you guys think, though? Will the Lakers, predict it for me, will the Lakers trade for Myles Turner? We all know that they should, but are they actually going to pull the trigger and get Indiana to give in? Type Y for yes, type N for no. This will be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube might throw you a little ad break right here. When they do, go down below and answer today's pinned comment in the comment section. Next up on the Lakers trade targets, Robert Williams III, the Time Lord up in Portland. And he hasn't really been able to carve out a solid role for the Trailblazers because they have a logjam in the front court. They just drafted Donovan Clingan. They have DeAndre Ayton, who's putting up great numbers for them. And, he also hasn't been able to be the healthiest player. So how can you trust a guy up there to be a true rotational big if he's not always going to be available for you? And that's kind of been the story of his career, right? Hasn't played more than 35 games in over 3 seasons. And it's not looking like he's in a spot where he's going to be super healthy for the rest of his career. Like, nothing so far has shown us that that's going to be the case. But he is a very tradable player, only making $12.4 million, and he fits what Los Angeles wants to do. He's an elite rim protector, which they lack right now, aggressive crashing the glass. He is only 6'8", so you can't teach the height. Like, he's not going to grow up to 7 foot in a month or so when he gets traded to Los Angeles, but he plays a lot bigger than he actually is. Solid passer as well, but can't space the floor like a Turner would, and that's kind of why we have him below Myles on the trade target rankings right now. But and obviously, like I said, the other con for him is staying healthy. Like, he just hasn't been able to be out there on the floor consistently. And will that be the case for LA? Only time will tell if they make the trade. But my overall thoughts on the Time Lord here is that he is the archetype that Los Angeles would want, especially pairing up with Luka Doncic, being that lob threat, being a guy who can run the high pick and roll with. He rolls aggressively to the rim, and he's a very physical presence. He's only 6'8", but he's not like a skinny big by any means. He has a lot of meat on those bones and can body different defenders throughout a run to the paint. So, yes, he fits the archetype, but at the same time, like, are the Lakers going to be all in on making a trade for him with his injury concerns and what Portland has recently been asking for in a trade, which is an unprotected first-round pick? And I think that is absolutely insane. Next up, though, we're going to get to 3 more trade targets because the Lake Show has to figure out something in this front court after losing AD. Talk about that in just a moment, but first, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. It's America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform with over 10 million active members, including yours truly. And they're going to hook you up with a free $50 in your account when you use our promo code CLNS and place your first $5 entry. You might be asking me, how do you even place an entry on Prize Picks? Super simple. All you guys got to do is pick a lineup of 2 to 6 player stat projections and just pick more or less. And it's not just the free $50 they're hooking you up with. They got tons of other deals as well, like a Taco Tuesday where they offer discounted stat projections. like a Flex Friday, where if you get your lineup wrong, they'll give you your entry back in promo funds. And when big games come around, like the big game on Sunday, they're going to give you some free squares like Patrick Mahomes more than half a passing yard. If you couple this with something else in the big game, or a basketball pick, a college sports pick, an esports pick, you're already halfway to winning on Prize Picks. 3x your money. So take advantage of the deal and download Prize Picks today. Use our promo code CLNS for $50 instantly when you place your first $5 entry. You don't even need to win to receive the $50. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. All that information is clickable down in the comment section and description of today's video. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Nikola Vucevic of the Chicago Bulls as a player that Los Angeles should be targeting within the next 24 hours, although he might be the worst defensive player in the entire NBA. I don't get this guy switched on a high pick and roll, but he does fill it up offensively. Like a walking 20 and 10, he is a really, really good rebounder, and he is that true 6'10 to 7-foot guy that Los Angeles just doesn't have on the roster right now. So at least one that can play for long stretches. Plus, like Myles Turner, he does stretch the floor a really, really good amount. 40% three-point shooter. But is he going to be driving up a high price as well? Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype said this: the Bulls have held out hope for a first-round pick for Vucevic, but may have to settle for multiple second-round picks if they move him ahead of the deadline in the eyes of NBA executives who spoke with Hoops Hype. And let's be honest, like, I'm not trading a first-round pick for Vucevic. He is, not going to say he's super old, but he's an aging veteran who can't move his feet defensively, really doesn't give much of an effort on that end. And what does Los Angeles really lack right now? Defensive prowess down low. And he gives you none of that. He's not a shot blocker. He isn't a deterrent at the rim. People aren't scared of him when he's standing down low in the paint. And that would only probably add more to Los Angeles' defensive woes right now after losing Anthony Davis. But I do think the upside of him offensively as a pick and pop option could prove dividends for Los Angeles, and I think it's worth making a couple calls to Chicago if the price is low enough. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, though, for the latest Lakers news and rumors. That's a tongue twister, ain't it? Hit that sub button, though, because we're going to keep you guys locked in all season long around everything surrounding the Lakers. When the trade deadline's over, we got buyout candidates to talk about, too. So hit that sub button, lock us in as your number one source for Lakers news and rumors. Next up on the trade target list, Steven Adams, the big Aussie from the Rockets, who we really have kind of not heard much about over the past couple of seasons. He's kind of gone into darkness as this guy who doesn't really play much anymore. He's faced a couple season-long injuries, but he is a player, in my opinion, that is a big enough force, a physical force, maybe not the best rim protector, but a big enough physical force that Los Angeles should be willing to make a call on. According to Sam Amick of The Athletic, here's what he had to say on the Lakers and Steven Adams. League sources say the Lakers have had talks with Houston about the 31-year-old big man who's on an expiring deal of $12.6 million, very similar to Robert Williams. And while the two sides have been significantly apart with no signs that a deal would actually get done, these talks offer some clarity as to what Pelinka has been thinking here. Now, the stats for Steven Adams aren't going to jump off the screen, but like a couple of years ago, this is also only a 12-minute per game role. Like, he's not being used as a starting center anymore, and at the end of the day, like, this kind of just seems like a last resort. Like, his body seems to be broken down at this point. He's on the wrong side of 30, and for a guy who plays the way that he does and how physical he's played throughout his entire career, he's not going to be getting any healthier, and he's not going to be playing more games as his career goes on. I would kind of temper expectations on trading for Steven Adams and any impact that he would have on the Lakers. Know who I wouldn't, though? Jakob Poeltl, who might drive the highest price out of anybody on this list. I actually think Jakob Poeltl is a really, really good center who could start for just about any team in this league. Really good shot blocker, underrated facilitator, crashes the glass, and has that good push shot around the rim as well. Michael Grange of Sportsnet had this to say about a pairing between LA and Poeltl. He said the Lakers have inquired about him, but the sense is that the Raptors are holding out for an offer that would include a first-round pick, likely with a certain level of protection, and the only one the Lakers have left to offer is a 2031 first. They've been clutching tightly for years because we all know LeBron could be retired by all then, and who knows, Luka maybe doesn't have the team around him at that point that is necessarily one that's contending for a championship, no doubt about it. But trading for Poeltl might put you in a spot to win a championship this season. Uber efficient player, doesn't stretch the floor, but he is a good rim protector, is a walking double-double. Like, you're not going to have to worry about much with Poeltl. He doesn't get hurt very often, and this is only in 30 minutes per game. I bet you he was going to be playing more than that if he does end up in Los Angeles. closer to probably 36 minutes a game if I'm being honest, and these numbers would only go up in my opinion. But it doesn't seem likely, like we mentioned, Grange mentioned, the Lakers are going to be willing to part with that first-round pick. Very valuable, and it's so far down the line that you have no idea what the situation is going to be with this roster and this organization at that point. So, like, I'd be very hesitant to give away a 2031 first-round pick when we're only in 2025, not even at that draft yet. But who will be a future Laker? They're going to make a move. I think they're going to make a move before this deadline's over for one of these centers. Name a player you think gets traded to LA down in the comment section. I'm trying to hear what Laker Nation has to say. And before we go on this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up icon. Like I told you at the start, we're trying to beat the most likes we've gotten on the last video. So if you love the Lakers and you want them to trade for a center before the deadline tomorrow, make sure you hit that thumbs up icon.